And now, the general weather around Alaska.
All right, today's satellite imagery showing big storm coming into the western Aleutians, bringing gale and storm force winds out there with gusts of 60 miles per hour, spreading rain and snow, or just plain rain into around Adak Island, and thickening clouds over Atka. Kind of a breaking conditions with gusty north winds for the Pribilof Islands, generally just cloudy skies extending down to the eastern Aleutians there, snow showers for the Alaska Peninsula. And areas of clouds here over interior Alaska, mostly clear and cold for the Arctic coast North Slope areas. And then this storm down here moving northward, increasing the wind and rain along the central and south coast of the Panhandle, pushing northward there. And just variable clouds here across south central Alaska. On the chart today, weak trough swinging westward, remnants of the old low pressure center that was farther to the west yesterday. Weakened considerably, most of the moisture off the coast, but areas of light snow and precipitation were noted along the North Gulf Coast, southern coast of the Kenai Peninsula, maybe southern Cook Inlet on up into the western Alaska Range, and a few scattered snow showers up here over the northeast or eastern interior, south of the Brooks Range. And wind and rain with a system as that front pushes in toward the southeast coast today on the increase there, with areas of precipitation all the way into the northern Panhandle. Gusty northwest winds of 15 to 30 miles an hour with a few higher gusts here for the Alaska Peninsula and snow showers there. Generally dry with lighter winds over the eastern Bering Sea, northern Bering Sea as well. Still some gusty north winds blowing through the Bering Strait there, but not kind of clipping the Yukon Delta coast today, but generally not too bad wind-wise. And then this tighter gradient, or the tight pressure field associated with this big storm there just west of, or near the Komodorsky Islands, south of the Komodorsky Islands, tonight pushes eastward. That'll bring storm force winds into the western Aleutians. Front weakening here as it pushes eastward, so by late tonight there won't even be gale force winds associated with it here, slowly pushing across Adak and Atka, starting to bear down on the Kulski, staying well west of the Pribilof Islands. Higher pressure ridging down in toward the Alaska Peninsula, keeping the northern Bering Sea mostly cloud-free and dry cold conditions up into the northwest interior, and again over the north slope and the Arctic coast. Scattered snow showers with variably cloudy skies here over the interior areas, Kuskokwim Delta up into the eastern Tanana Valley. I should say scattered or isolated light snow showers in that area. Dry south and east of the Alaska Range into Prince William Sound. Chance of snow showers there for Kodiak Island as that trough rotates southward, but snow showers, winds decreasing for the Alaska Peninsula. Wind and rain increasing here for the southern southeast coast as this slow-moving system keeps gale force winds over the southern areas and snow moving into the northern areas there. Juneau northward to Haines and Skagway. And then for Friday, low starts to pull back to the west a little bit here, and strongest winds now tomorrow afternoon will be along the north coast of the Panhandle as things improve down to the south with rain changing to showers with the front pushing inland, and rain and snow for the northern southeast coast to about Yakutat, cutting off around Cordova, just a risk of a snow shower there, but dry for south central Alaska with some clearing, sunshine extending down toward Kodiak Island. Areas of light snow up over the mid and upper Tanana Valley, 40-mile country, northward into the Yukon Flats, and maybe Old Crow, possibly Arctic Village, but again, this all really light up in that area. Much colder and drier here to the west from the Koyukuk Valley out to the Seward Peninsula and the northern Bering Sea. Those colder northeast winds with a high centered over the north slope, and that's going to keep this front to the south as it elongates eastward. New low center develops well south of the Alaska Peninsula, and this front really weakening, just really winds no longer a factor with it at all, just rain and snow associated with it, having trouble pushing into the Alaska Peninsula. And this slowly weakening storm, winds will slowly diminish as well throughout the day over the western Aleutians. And taking a look at first day of the weekend, Saturday, that system actually drops southward here. This is the remnants of the first front associated with it. The new front develops here south of the Aleutians. So periods of rain or rain and snow mix for the central Aleutian areas, but winds pretty light there, and some light precipitation into the eastern Aleutians with light winds as well. In the northern and eastern Bering Sea, cold temperatures, dry northeast winds there, keeping it clear over the western half of the state, as well as Brooks Range on up to the Arctic coast, and more clouds as you head over the eastern and southeast interior. Cloudier skies with isolated snow showers, periods of light snow. This low coming westward pushes moisture across Prince William Sound in the form of snow, and that'll be pushing in toward the Chugach Mountains, maybe even northern Cook Inlet by evening. Could see some light snow developing into the Matanuska Valley along the North Gulf Coast. Rain and snow showers, much drier and much lighter winds here. Weak high pressure ridging up over the Panhandle, but still we have that weak trough there keeping it unsettled, especially in the northern areas, maybe drying out to the south, especially down toward Dixon Entrance. Lows tonight down that way, mid to upper 30s there, lower 30s to the north. In the 20s or teens and 20s, 15 to 25 south central Alaska, near zero in the Copper River Basin. North of the Alaska Range, temperatures below zero. And the farther north you go, the farther below zero they'll be, maybe 25 to 40 below again for areas in the North Slope. And then single numbers down over the Yukon and Kuskokwim Delta, teens for Bristol Bay, 20s for the Alaska Peninsula, lower 30s for the Aleutians. Highs for tomorrow, edging above zero to about 3 for Savunga and Gamble, mid-20s for the Pribilofs, and staying in the 20s for Bristol Bay, teens here over the southwest part of the state, anywhere from 5 to 15 for the central interior, Tanana Valley area. Single numbers, Yukon Flats, Bettles, 2 below for, Kobuk and Kotzebue at 4 below, and then well below zero from the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast, coldest over the North Slope, highs 30 to 35 for south central Alaska, and 30s to mid 40s for the southeast coast. Lows in the 30s here for the Panhandle on Saturday morning, and right around 5 to 10 for the Copper River Basin, and 10 to 20 here for south central Alaska, mid-20s Kodiak Island. You can see below zero down into Bristol Bay now, Yukon Kuskokwim Delta out to the coastline, and St. Lawrence Island down around 10 below, and 15 to 30 below for the interior south of the Brooks Range. Brooks Range northward again, 25 to 40 below. Highs well below zero, Arctic coast into the Brooks Range, and then 0 to 10 for the central interior, mid to upper 20s, south central Alaska, teens to near 20 for Bristol Bay, mid 20s Kodiak Island, and upper 30s for the northern Panhandle, and again mid 40s down to the south.